Inside the NLL, and what a pleasure to be joined by DelFavero, who recently stepped down as Napoleon Boys Soccer head coach. I'm sure it's been a whirlwind so far. How are you?
Great. Yeah, it has. I've had a tremendous amount of people reach out to me that I hadn't heard from for years, so it's been really, really special.
And you said in the press release that you're not burned out, you're grateful for the opportunity. So what is it about Napoleon that made you better, not only as a coach, but as a man?
Oh, it's the people. I mean, honestly, to get involved in coaching when I did with my best friend initially, who was the head coach at the time, Tim Carney, to then become the head coach for 17 years, and just terrific families, kids, administration. I've had great athletic directors, and can't leave my assistant coaches out either. It's been just a wonderful thing.
You mentioned Tim Carney.
Yeah.
How did that partnership, or should I say friendship, influence the past 2 decades for you when it comes to soccer?
Well, it's an interesting story. Tim and I have been best friends since we were 11 years old. Grew up in Warren, Ohio, in Northeast Ohio. We're teammates in Howland High School. And then I left the game, went to college, went to law school, moved to Napoleon, got married. Tim ended up by chance coming to Napoleon through a job with his wife, and he was still involved in soccer. Got the head coaching job in 2001, kept asking me to join him. Finally did in 2005. We ended up in the state Final Four. And then in 2009, he moved away, and I decided to keep going with it. And you know, we're best friends, best man in each other's weddings. So it's been a really unique situation, and I'm glad that we were able to do it.
And you've been a part of so many moments with Napoleon. Yeah. You mentioned that state Final Four run, winning the school's first ever regional title when you were assistant.
Yeah.
How did those moments make you ready to be a head coach when it was time for you to take the reins?
Yeah, you know, you don't know when you are. And so ultimately, you could tell the kids were paying attention. And because Tim and I have the same philosophies, it was an easy carryover. I wasn't implementing anything new. I had to be myself, but and the kids you had those first 2 seasons or 3 seasons who were also involved in those previous teams bought in. And I always tell my players, I said the success of the team is because the former guys keep coming back and paying back, and it helps us be able to get buy-in year after year.
And that builds up a great culture. You've been a part of teams that have been below 500. You've been a part of teams that have been a real threat to win a state title. But what year taught you the most about yourself?
Yeah, you know, I would say that either the year that we went to the Final Four was interesting because unfortunately during that season we had a player pass away who was a former player, and it really gave you a perspective outside the game. So that hit me early. But then I think when my son played from 2013 to 2016, and I had these kids that I knew well beyond soccer, and it was so enjoyable, and you really are starting to find your voice with teaching more about just the game, you know, how you want them to conduct themselves, what kind of men you want them to be, and I've just enjoyed every bit of that.
If you had every player that you've ever coached, whether that be as a head coach or as an assistant in the studio right now, what is the final message you'd want to share with them?
Well, that I will always be there for them. I had a player ask me this year when he was graduating senior. He said he was having a bad day, and I reached out to him later that night, and I said, you know, what's up? And he said, I'm okay now. And he goes, you know, when I'm done playing, can I still talk to you? And it kind of hit me like, wow, you know, he's really thinking about this beyond. And I think that's what I want them all to know, that I'm their coach forever, and not just those 4 years they're with me.
What are you going to miss most about being on the sideline? I mean, it's never fun screaming at kids to get into a formation and everything, but beyond that, what will you miss the most?
Well, you know, competition.
Yeah, of course.
Anybody who's involved in sports,
nothing
I
like
don't care what you say, there's competition.
I know that's right.
Us old guys, that's the way we get our competitive juices by coaching. No, and then watching kids develop from either being less, you know, not confident or not sure they can do it, and seeing their voices get louder and be heard, and just watching them grow and seeing them succeed, that's tremendous.
Man, now I feel unfortunate I never had a chance to play for him. DelFavero just recently stepped down as Napoleon Boys Soccer head coach, but if I could speak for all your players and assistants and people that you've coached with, you're going to be well missed.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate that.
Best of luck in retirement. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thanks for having me.